All right, this is video 3, part 3, in handling a car accident case without a lawyer, without going to court. And we're going to be talking about opening the insurance claim, talking to insurance companies, and what to do in different situations with the insurance companies, some of the things they ask for. This is what we're going to be talking about. Again, the disclaimer, this is not legal advice. This is just a general guide for people who want to learn how to handle the case on their own without a lawyer, without going to court. Watching these videos does not make you a client. I'm primarily talking about California law here, so it changes in each state, and it's 2020, and it can change over time, the law. So definitely research, double check things. Who am I? Jonathan Howell. I am a lawyer in California that handle injury cases. I basically help people who've been hurt get back on their feet financially and medically, and I fight with insurance companies. Very familiar with car accident cases. When you're talking to an insurance adjuster, a couple things you should know is that they are not your friend. Insurance companies may be friendly. They may pretend like they have empathy or sympathize with you, but oftentimes they don't. And their primary goal is to save the insurance company money. Some of them may disagree with that. They're supposed to have a duty to, your own insurance company is supposed to have a duty to protect you, but oftentimes they'll disagree with you. And I have cases where I have to sue my client's own insurance company because they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. So even if they're friendly, do not start volunteering information to them. Don't start telling them things about your medical history. Don't just be overly helpful giving a recorded statement. Be careful. Whenever you talk to them, I recommend giving the shortest possible truthful answers. So you always want to be honest with them, but you don't need to go on and on and on and volunteer information. It's like when a police officer pulls you over, everything that you say will be used against you. Same thing with an adjuster. They will use what they get from you against you. So be careful with that. Sometimes they will ask for a recorded statement, and they will ask you questions about your injury and how the accident happened. Be very careful about giving a recorded statement. Oftentimes, I don't allow my clients to give a statement unless there's a really good reason, because it's just another thing that they'll use against my client. Sometimes also they'll send you emails, and what you write in emails to the adjuster could be used against you. So if you write long explanations about things, it could be used against you. If you volunteer information they didn't even ask for, it could be used against you. Same thing with letters, what they send to you in letters. Also, make sure you keep everything that they email or send to you by letter. Often, what I recommend is communicate primarily through email or some other written response, so you can keep track of it with the adjuster, so there's no dispute about what each other are saying. And try not to give a statement. Sometimes you have to give a statement to your own insurance company, but not to the other person's insurance company. Just be careful about how it can be used against you. Sometimes they will also ask for an authorization to get your medical records. The medical records are important in the case, but if you give a blanket authorization to get your medical records, they can get all sorts of information about you, including about medical treatment that's not related to the case, about pre-existing conditions, other things like that, and it'll be used against you. They will use what they find in the medical records to try to say that whatever you're complaining about is not related to the crash, and that it's actually related to some other pre-existing condition that you have, or some other medical condition that you have. As an alternative to just giving a blanket authorization for medical records, you can get the medical records yourself from the medical provider, and you can also redact things that are not that are private or not related to the injuries that you have in the case. You want to be careful, though, about redacting, because it can look like you're hiding stuff. So there's a balance there. Also, you can redact your personal information that's in the medical records. And often we do that. Things like your social security number, you want to redact your personal phone number and address and things like that you don't want the insurance company to know. And that way you can be in control of the medical records and give it to the insurance company, and they don't just get a blanket authorization requested from all the medical providers that you've ever been to, and start digging for things that they can use against you. Be careful in giving your own contact information. Oftentimes, I won't give a social security number, for example, to the insurance company. They'll often ask for it. And I think they do that to run background checks on you and check to see how many claims you filed. And also, they've claimed to check with Medicare. But just be careful about giving that information. Also, they probably can get your address, but just be careful about giving your address even. They will, I've seen insurance companies hire investigators to spy on people and check to see what they're doing, stuff like that. And so they might do that. Likewise, I've seen it, they will look you up on social media and use what you post on social media against you. That includes if you post stuff about the car crash, about activities that you're doing. So if you're having back pain, but you posted a video of you on vacation, they will use that and say, oh, you must not be must not be having back pain. Even if that video on vacation was something from weeks prior that you just happen to upload then. Just be careful because that's how they use it and they'll use it against you. One thing I'll say is that insurance companies have been in trouble in the past for discriminating against people. They say they don't do it anymore. Sometimes I feel like I've seen insurance companies act differently depending on your social economic status and even like the way your name is and I don't know if necessarily skin color, but definitely if the way you are, sometimes they will try to discriminate and lowball you. So just be careful about giving them too much information because then they might use that to also discriminate against you. Remember, insurance companies, their agenda is to save money, to collect premiums and not pay out on claims. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. And that is in direct conflict with your goal, which is to get money for your injury, for your claim. And adjusters work for insurance companies, and their agenda is the same as the insurance companies. And the same thing goes for your insurance company. Your insurance company would much rather take your premium and not deal with your claim or not pay or help you in any way. And they're not in the business of helping you, even though they will say that. They're in the business of collecting premiums and paying out on claims as little as possible. So understand that. Same, obviously the defendant's insurance company is not on your side. One thing you need to know, or you should try to find out, is what is the policy limits or the maximum amount of insurance available that the other side has. And you also want to know your own limits. And sometimes you can just ask the adjuster, what are the policy limits of the person that hit me? Sometimes they'll tell you, sometimes they won't. Oftentimes they'll try to hide that information from you because it could be helpful for you when negotiating. If they try to hide it, you can ask for it in writing and even give them some medical records and say, hey, look, this is an injury case. I was hurt real bad and I need to know what the limits are. You need to disclose it. Like I said, as an attorney, I feel like to put some extra pressure on them. Sometimes they won't give that to you. They still try to play games, but it's important for you to know. For example, if the other side only has a $15,000 insurance policy limit and you went to the ER and you have $20,000 in medical bills, they should just pay that 15. And they might try to play games like, oh, that ER bill is too high, we'll just give you $10,000. But really they should pay it. And they won't tell you the insurance policy limits. That's why it's important, if in that situation, send them the bill, let them take a look at it and tell them, look, the bills are high. You need to tell me what the limits are. If there's no insurance, if the other side has no insurance, hopefully you have what's called uninsured or underinsured motorist coverage to protect you. If you don't have that coverage, the other side doesn't have insurance, then you need to start looking into the other side, the person that hits you, if they have any sort of assets or something that would make sense that could pay for your claims. If the person is solvent, has no assets, has really no chance of recovery, there's not a whole lot you could do. You can get a judgment, you can go to small claims, but it's just a piece of paper and could be a waste of time because you'll never get any money on it. That's why it's really important, especially in California, to get uninsured or underinsured motorist coverage. Another coverage that you might have is medical pay. Medical pay is a coverage that insurance companies provide in order to provide you a little bit of money to help pay for medical bills. And the way you can access it is you incur medical bills, submit the medical bills to your insurance company, tell them that you want to open a med pay claim. They'll review the bills and then just send you a check directly. And it's a way to get some quick cash to help pay for bills. I already talked about uninsured motorist coverage and why that's important. And another thing that you're going to be dealing with the insurance company is the property damage claim. And I'll talk more about that in another video, but that's something that you're going to be negotiating with the insurance company on. And sometimes when you're negotiating with them on property damage, they try to get information from you on the injury claim, and you got to be careful about that. Okay, that's part 3 of this video series. And if you have any questions about what I covered or on your particular case, just connect with me through my website, howelljustice.com. You can submit a form or call us. And there's also a blog there with more free resources where you can get more information to help protect yourself.